for you guys who are just joining, I see some people just joined. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show it to you again. These are shots that are about 30 plus years old, shot for boutique. I couldn't resist coming in close for headshots ever. Always when I was doing a shoot, if there was time, I would come in close for a headshot, for a close-up shot, for something, because I just flat damn like doing them. Lovely young lady, nice model. Here, I think she was with the Robert Black Agency, which is still around, interestingly enough, here in town. Although Robert, like me, has moved on to other things. Here's one. All right, in the studio, we always kept this muslin material. It was kind of a brownish gray. It was always kind of fun, but it was loose, and I would stretch it and do things with it. On this particular day, it was raining, and we had to do this shot. Now, you may find it interesting that I can tell you about that it was raining on that day. I can actually tell you this was shot on +X. I can tell you it was shot at f4. And I can tell you that it was shot with grid spots. I can't tell you what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can tell you every single photograph I've ever taken. I can tell you the settings, the film I used. I remember what Patty and I were talking about at that particular moment. I feel like Rain Man sometimes when I'm looking at photographs, but it's just true. Nikon 105mm lens and a little studio. She's right up against the wall. We've got a strobe behind it, lighting up the wall, and then the grid spot on Patty here. You can also see the hair. Very 80s. I was hip in the 80s. I actually had black hair in the 80s. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Location shot, natural light. Almost all of my location shots in those days were natural light. This young lady was standing under the eaves of a building, and we basically had a white card, big white card in the shade to my camera left. Big white card, 4x6 is what I used in those days. It folded in the middle with white gaffer's tape, made a really nice fold, and we could put it on a single stand right in the middle, and then use those two 3-foot wings coming out as we could shape the light. But that's all that I used for this. Also +X. Gonna ask me what I processed it in? Okay, you may catch me there. I don't remember processing chemicals, but probably D76. Well, it was either D76 or Rodinol or HC110. So it was one of the only three that you could use. Like it wasn't Ilford though. We didn't shoot I didn't shoot much Ilford film this time in my career, but this was shot also for a little boutique. Lots of boutiques here in the Valley were getting custom photography made for purchases, for a lot of different things like that. And I thought it was kind of fun to do those jobs. They didn't pay a whole lot, but I got to shoot really pretty girls like this lovely young lady here. So that was something. If you know my style now, you know I've been having girls jump in the air for 30 plus years. This young lady jumped a couple of dozen times to get this. Biggest thing I was working for was to get her to jump, to put her head up in that area right there. That's where I wanted her head to be. I didn't want her head to be up into the black stuff. And so we had to jump and do it. This was shot with a revolutionary light called the 283. Who was that? Vivitar 283. Nikon F3, 50mm, and processed in some kind of chemistry. just chemistry. All right. One more studio headshot here. Studio headshot from back in the day. Look at the highlights on the lips. This is when, can you see the eyes? You see this is when I started doing a lighting schema with two umbrellas, one giant umbrella and then a small umbrella in front of it, very small, 24-inch in front of it. 24-inch umbrella in front would be a half stop brighter than the big umbrella. And it gave me a very poppy, soft light with really wide open eyes, just opened up the eyes, the color, everything was there. So it was kind of fun. Old shots, 30 plus years old. She's probably a grandmother today, like I'm a grandfather, or maybe she's not quite grandmother age. Most of these girls were a lot younger than I was when I was shooting this stuff. I did a job for a client, and I got an opportunity to trade being paid for some movie lights, and I opted for the movie lights. I said, well, you know what? Movie lights are worth more than the money we're talking about, so I'll take the movie lights. So I got two 5K movie lights, really big movie lights with Fresnels in them. And I started using them in the studio a lot. They were heavy as hell, and they were huge. They were probably this big around, and had 5K lights in them. And that's 10,000 watts of light. And I started doing stuff like this with a 50 millimeter lens. I'm actually standing on a little chair thing and tilting the lens down. It became kind of a stylistic thing I liked for a while. I had a little step stool. I'd be up on the step stool and kind of shoot down at an angle a little bit. And that would give me a bit of a different perspective, so to speak, to the images. But always keeping the head in the sweet spot of the lens. I didn't want distorted heads, and I didn't really want that the faces to be pulled at all. So this young lady shot on Tri-X, shot at ISO 200, and then processed basically normal, which is a one-stop overexposure. Because I always found that Tri-X was rated at 400, but I'd never shot it at 400. It wasn't 400 speed film. It was 200 speed film. 400 gave me a one-stop underexposed image. Hence, move the ISO down. So some fun stuff from back in the day. I found these pictures in a box, and I can instantly remember sort of making these photographs, and instantly remember exactly what I was doing and what we were talking about. Let me see if I can grab one or two more here. Went through those faster than I thought I would, but oh, not that book. It's my graphic design book back in the agency days, by the way. We used to carry this thing around. There's some of the design work we did. Hell, I was younger and stronger. I guess I could carry it then. More design work that we did at the agency. I carry this big ass thing around. Anyway, it's down here in the little ones. Got to make sure they're safe for work. Actually, all my work is safe for work. What the hell? Oh, this is fun. I'll show that. And cat. And, oh, that was fun. And let's see if I can find another one here. One of the things I would do is print across the gutter. I don't know if you can see that. Print across the gutter here and show spreads in my portfolio. My portfolio, this is one incarnation of my portfolio. My portfolio for a couple of years, 4 or 5 years, was all monochrome. So it was black and white, but toned. So we've got a sepia brown thing going on here. Got another one here, pretty close, I think. Where are you? Crazy, crazy, crazy. How to have a great podcast or vidcast or whatever the hell this Facebook Live is me sitting here going through, oh, here's one that's fun. Give you an idea of some of the toning and things that we would do. Come on, come out. There we go. All right. Well, that's a very shiny print, so we're getting reflections. So I'll turn it a little bit like that. Shot on the streets downtown Phoenix. And this is interesting. This was shot on Polaroid black and white slide film. So when you would shoot it, you'd actually get a black and white slide. I see Rick Gale's on here. I'm sure Rick remembers black and white slide Polaroid. You could also damage it by doing things like breathing on it, holding it in the air, touching it by anything. But so we'd shoot it, dry it, and hang it up. And then I would put the slide in the enlarger and make a Sebachrome, and then use the color enlarger to tone the, see, this is Sebachrome. That's why it's one of the reasons why it's so glossy. Sebachrome. So it was a toned monochrome book. One of my favorite, absolute, forever favorite films was Polaroid Type 55. I would give anything, and I'd probably pay a premium to shoot this film again. This shot a negative and a positive. So you process it, wait 2 minutes, or shoot it, wait 2 minutes, pull it apart. You'd have a negative in this hand and a positive print in this hand. You could take the negative and clear it, in other words, make it a permanent negative and stick it in an enlarger. And it was an amazing, amazing negative. This is a contact sheet. And one of the things they didn't do with the negative was clear all the crap around the edges, because back in 86, we thought that shit was cool, man. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Nick stuck it in the Nick software because they think that shit's cool too. But anyway, this is toned heavy copper and then rewashed, bleached, and retoned again in sepia. So we'll do a lot of things like that. I like the darkroom. Kind of miss it. We'll show Pat last. Talk about high key. Again, a Sebachrome. Get that shine off there. A Sebachrome shot on the Polaroid film. And slightly overexposed. Just pulled it up, make it very bright. She had very bright white blonde hair, and I just wanted that look to it. And I mean, today in Photoshop, you know, probably drag it around in Lightroom and get the same effect. But I really liked this look to it. Sebachrome, so we use the toner in the color enlarger to make the print. So it's monochrome, but it's not black and white. And the last one I'm going to show you is Pat Gross. Pat was a model here in town, became a newscaster, I think, up in Denver, somewhere like that. Had a nice career. This was taken out at Papago Park. Was taken on T-Max 100, 180 millimeter Nikkor f2.8 lens on an f3 at about 6 o'clock in the morning on a bright early summer day. I can remember all of that. I can remember what Pat and I were talking about. We were talking about an upcoming gig she had with another photographer in town. Remember all that. I don't know my license plate number. And I sometimes have to remember what year my motorcycle is. 2006, 2008. But I remember this, again, processed, sepia toned, bleached, gold toned, very slightly gold toned to give it an effect. That was a stylistic thing that I had going back then. But some old pictures from 30 plus years ago. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. Hope you enjoyed my little broadcast. I appreciate you all coming. Have a great day.